Hello and welcome to this page. Thank you so much for landing here and just following your intuition or a call or following whatever it is that actually brought you to this space. And just tremendous gratitude for taking the time to listen a little bit more to this video as I explain a little bit more about who I am. So let's get to know each other a little bit more. So the question, who am I? Huge question. I ask and have asked this question for many, many years. And it's usually the most profound question of a lifetime. We all are searching for the answer to that. And what I find often is that the answer to that question is often concealed under all the lies we ingest when we are empty. So who am I? Well, my birth name is Sylvie, and I prefer Selvia. My shamanic name is Shadow Wolf. And truly, my service is my heart. In my own life experience, I have experienced all the elements of chaos and conflict from an external standpoint, which really was the catalyst to the chaos and conflict I experienced on my inner landscape. And all of these elements, what felt like a real war was neatly tucked away and controlled and buried in the depths of my being. And every so often, there would be these eruptions of deep pain. And this deep pain would be followed by numbing that really overrode all of me until I could literally be no more. And so from that, I became very disoriented. I felt very abandoned. And for the first time, really consciously scared, feeling like I had absolutely no skills in combat to fight my way out of this inner war. So who am I? Well, I am a veteran, a retired first responder. I bled red and wore blue, still do, just in a different way. I worked for Canada's Federal Police Force, known as the RCMP, for 17 years in various specializations, And really towards the later part of my career is what really offered me sort of like what we like to say, these sexier opportunities on a little bit of a grander scale to sort of see parts of the world and do major style investigations. And at that time, I worked for a unit called the Integrated National Security Enforcement Team, which is a really big word for national security. And let me see, I did years of undercover work. I worked as a physical surveillance specialist and a human source handler. And pretty much towards the end of my career is when I took part in major national security related endeavors that led me to really interesting secondment deployments to West Africa with our Canadian Special Forces. So who am I? I'm a wounded healer. My pain is your pain. Truly, it is. And after years of suffering with no end in sight, I made the choice to journey through my underworld and took a risk on alternative and holistic healing. And when I say I took a risk on alternative and holistic healing, it was very scary for me because I had no belief system of that sort. And I was just at a point where I was at the end and I needed something, anything else that could provide me an opportunity for healing. And really, when I took that risk and I made that leap, which was likely, it was really the bravest thing I had done at that time, truly. I really did experience major breakthroughs that transformed my trauma into what I can only say are initiations that really, really gave me a gained wisdom, which really aligned me with a deeper sense of purpose, a similar mission, on a grander scale. And that mission is really just to support human beings in finding healing, liberation, and purpose. Who am I? I'm a designer. Using the totality of all of my life experience, including formal education, certifications, and apprenticeships, I design tailored, customized, unique, and full spectrum healing processes that meet you where you're at and support you on the journey of where you want to go. My work is really centered around trauma-informed somatic intelligence that repairs the nervous system. And what I like to do is use a titration process towards trauma healing. And I'm very passionate about investigating the shadow and what stands in the way of accessing our natural, authentic states of being. I create experiences that help you cultivate a somatic sense of safety, so you can then experience the full spectrum of your humanness. I support your expansion into non-dual states of being, gaining access to true presence and meeting yourself beyond identity, beyond narratives, and beyond the stories you tell yourself and that you have literally embodied. And the artistry of this design is living life from the direct felt experience of in-body aliveness and the reconnection to your vitality. Who am I? I am a mother. And I owe my two beautiful daughters, I get so emotional every time I say this, I owe my daughters, the honor of initiating my first of many awakenings. The experience of their births and the trauma that followed taught me just how much disconnect women experience from their bodies, from their wombs, from their sexuality. My goodness, when we rely on a broken system that does not nurture and takes away a sacred rite of passage. My daughters are literally the reason why I found my way back to myself and my raw femininity. And I help navigate other women back to theirs. Who am I? I am a beloved. Myself and my husband have been through many deaths and rebirths. Being a wife to a police officer as well, while being a police officer proved its challenge as well. And he and I have been teammates. We have been best friends and lovers for over 23 years. We have both chosen to heal our trauma together at different paces, in different ways, but we are always committed to our evolution and consciously showing up to life, being open to all of it as it comes. Who am I? I am an ordained shamanic priestess of the blue fire. Most people are like, what the hell does that mean? Let me just tell you a little bit more about that. So an ordination requires a lifelong devotional path. So it is a path of devotion, a path of discipline, passion, and service. And in a time where our collective is in an epidemic of mental illness, dis-ease, and lost souls, the reclamation of vitality as our birthright is essential. It's essential to our evolution. And in ancient times, before the goddess was casted out of our collective consciousness, the priestess was a channel, a really clear divine channel, a bridge that supported the rites of passage and initiations of others into their wholeness and their spiritual maturity. And so the priestess facilitates and guides those worthy of passage to come into communion with their source, with their vitality. and gain access and move life force through the body. And as you do that, you heal all forms of emotional and physical trauma. And so as we sort of begin to rise, as a collective from these shadows, these collective shadows as well, our own shadows, it's the shadows of these systems that literally destroyed the priestess temples and corrupted and contorted our history, trying to suppress humanity for thousands of years. And I truly believe that we are thirstier now than ever for the wisdom that has been hidden and taken from us. The very wisdom that you seek is deeply encoded in the fibers of your being. It's hidden under years of social and familial conditioning, and access to these codes lay in your own cellular memory. Yes, your very own DNA. When we can seek out rooted and holistic ways of healing that awaken us from generations of slumber to the realization that these systems continue to fail us by keeping us sick and dependent on modalities that patch issues versus healing issues at the root, they keep us disconnected from our source as they continue to eat away at our life force, one program, one lie, one conditioning, one disconnect at a time. So, as a shamanic priestess, I have undergone and consistently continue to undergo training and apprenticeship in the healing arts that allow me to offer you the way of wisdom, the ancient lost ways of healing through a plethora of modalities steeped in ceremony and ritual through the lens of my unique soul expression, soul lineage, and way of service. I have, quite frankly, resurrected my raw, authentic nature. I've healed deep trauma. I've repatterned unhealthy behaviors, reclaimed my queendom and my kingdom, all in order to move through my own fire. And I'm here to walk with you through the healing blue transformational fires in order to let the old die, burn away what no longer serves you, alchemize into rebirth, and take back what's rightfully yours. So lastly, who am I? I'm a warrior. I am the hero of my own story who has achieved the skill set to win the battle of my inner conflict. And I am here to be a bridge that unifies love and war. And if you give me permission, I will ask for your hand and offer you an olive branch. And with that olive branch, I will gently guide it to your heart. So who am I? The answer beyond it all is I am. I am. And so I ask now, who are you? And if the answer is I don't know, and that's okay, let's find out. Thank you.